In the farthest reaches of the cosmos, where stars are mere pinpricks of light and the sun's warmth is a forgotten dream, a solitary machine drifts through the infinite dark. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, was humanity's bold gesture to the unknown, a probe sent not to return, but to explore, to witness the outer planets and sail beyond the heliosphere into the interstellar void. For nearly half a century, it has wandered alone, a silent emissary carrying a golden record etched with humanity's voice, our music, our hopes. But last month, after decades of faint whispers to Earth, Voyager 2 sent a transmission that wasn't just data. It was a warning, a signal so precise, so alien, and so deliberate that it has shaken the foundations of what we believe about the universe. Scientists expected cosmic noise or mechanical failure. Instead, they found a message, structured, rhythmic, and impossible. It wasn't just a signal, it was a call, and it came from something that knows we're listening. Voyager 2's instruments, though relics of a bygone era, are finely tuned to capture the subtlest shifts in the fabric of space. Magnetic fields, plasma waves, cosmic rays. In a recent data stream pulled from NASA's Deep Space Network, engineers noticed an anomaly, a low-frequency oscillation repeating every 9.7 seconds. At first, they thought it was interference, a glitch from the probe's aging systems. But when they cross-referenced the signal with historical logs, they found it had appeared before, faintly 3 weeks earlier, overlooked in the noise. Using advanced AI-driven signal processing, they isolated the pattern. It wasn't random. It was a sequence, mathematical, deliberate, and growing stronger. The signal carried a spectral signature unlike anything in our cosmic catalog, a distorted resonance of helium, the universe's second most abundant element, but warped in a way that defies natural processes. Scientists called it a synthetic anomaly. Others whispered it might be a beacon. Whatever it wasn't coming from Voyager 2. It was coming from something nearby, something that had found our probe in the vastness of interstellar space. The data grew stranger. By analyzing the signal's Doppler shift, mission control determined its source was moving, not drifting aimlessly like cosmic debris, but maneuvering with purpose, shadowing Voyager 2's trajectory. The object's path was erratic, accelerating in short bursts, then slowing, as if responding to the probe's faint telemetry pings. Newtonian physics couldn't explain it. No known object, asteroid, comet, or rogue planet, moves like that. Simulations failed to predict its course, as if it were defying gravity itself. More unsettling, the signal wasn't broadcasting outward. It was looping, reflecting Voyager's own data back toward the probe, altered just enough to carry a new signature. Theories erupted in classified briefings. Could it be a forgotten human satellite, a remnant of some unlisted mission? A natural phenomenon we've never encountered? Or something else entirely? Something that had waited, silent, until Voyager crossed its path. The realization hit like a shockwave. Our probe might have triggered something, and that something was now awake. The signal structure deepened the mystery. Cryptographers and signal analysts were called in, expecting to find random noise or corrupted code. Instead, they uncovered patterns within the transmission, binary sequences that, when visualized, formed intricate geometric shapes. Interlocking hexagons, recursive spirals, patterns that echoed mathematical constants like pi and the Fibonacci sequence. These weren't just signals. They were designs, deliberate and precise, resembling the kind of symbolic language humanity has used for millennia, from Egyptian hieroglyphs to Mayan codices. But these weren't human. The patterns carried a complexity that suggested intent, as if they were meant to be seen, to be understood. Some scientists speculated it was a form of communication, a test to see if we could decode it. Others feared it was more, a marker, a signature left by something that knew how to manipulate electromagnetic waves with the precision of a surgeon. Voyager 2 had become a canvas, and something was painting on it. Then came the breakthrough that changed everything. A team at MIT ran the signal through a neural network trained to detect cryptographic intent. The AI didn't just analyze the data, It began to predict it, generating sequences that matched the transmission's logic as if the signal were a conversation waiting for a response. This wasn't a one-off broadcast. It was recursive, designed to provoke interaction, like a puzzle daring us to solve it. At the same time, Voyager 1, billions of miles away in a different sector of interstellar space, registered a faint echo of the same oscillation, a 9.7-second pulse with an identical helium signature. Two probes, two signals, one pattern. The implications were staggering. This wasn't a localized event. It was coordinated, spanning vast distances, suggesting a presence that could operate across the interstellar medium with ease. The question shifted from what Voyager 2 had found to why it was happening now, after 48 years of silence. Just as scientists scrambled to decode the signal, Voyager 2 fell silent. For 72 hours, the Deep Space Network received nothing. No telemetry, no status updates, just a void where the probe's faint voice should have been. Engineers feared the worst, a catastrophic failure, a collision, or the final death of a machine far beyond its expected lifespan. But then, without warning, the signal returned. Not as a trickle of data, but as a torrent. The transmission wasn't just Voyager's usual stream of cosmic measurements. It was dense, layered with code that didn't match any of NASA's protocols. When analysts dug deeper, they found something impossible. Fragments of the Golden Record's data, the message to extraterrestrial life we sent in 1977, but altered. The greetings in 55 languages were scrambled, their waveforms inverted as if played in reverse. The music, Beethoven, Bach, traditional songs, was distorted, stretched into eerie, unfamiliar tones. Most chilling, the record's pulsar map, designed to show Earth's location, had been rewritten. The coordinates no longer pointed to our solar system. They pointed elsewhere, to a region of space devoid of stars, a cosmic abyss. Voyager wasn't just transmitting, it was speaking a new language, one it was never programmed to know. The anomaly escalated. Ground stations in Australia, Spain, and California reported a synchronized disruption across the Deep Space Network. At precisely 0327 UTC, all receivers lost contact with Voyager 2 for exactly 13.4 seconds, a blackout so precise it defied chance. When the signal resumed, it carried a new layer, a high-frequency carrier wave, too structured to be natural, emanating from the same region as Voyager's last known position. This wasn't a glitch. It was an intervention, as if something had briefly severed our connection to the probe and replaced it with its own voice. Analysts traced the wave's origin to a point just beyond the heliopause, the boundary where solar winds give way to the interstellar medium. But this signal wasn't static. It was moving, closing the distance to Voyager 2 at a speed that suggested intent, not inertia. NASA dubbed it Signal Zero, a placeholder name that belied its gravity. Because whatever was sending it wasn't just following Voyager. It was approaching. The plot thickened when the James Webb Space Telescope, quietly redirected under classified orders, turned its mirror toward the coordinates of Signal Zero. What it saw wasn't a single object, but a faint cluster of anomalies. Dozens of small, reflective bodies moving in unison, like a flock of birds navigating an unseen current. Their infrared signatures were unlike anything in our cosmic database. No asteroids, no comets, no known debris. Spectroscopic analysis revealed traces of elements that shouldn't exist in stable form. Metals with half-lives measured in milliseconds, yet somehow persisting, as if held together by an unknown force. These objects weren't just drifting. They were synchronized, adjusting their formation in response to Voyager's faint broadcasts. The data suggested something engineered, a system designed to observe, to adapt, to respond. Suddenly, Voyager 2 wasn't just a probe. It was a lure, and something had taken the bait. As the scientific community grappled with these findings, a new anomaly emerged closer to home. Cybersecurity teams monitoring global data networks noticed an unusual pattern buried in the world's digital traffic. Low-frequency data packets, invisible to standard firewalls, were circulating through undersea cables, satellite relays, and cloud servers. These packets carried no malicious code, no viruses, just a faint, repeating signature that matched Voyager 2's anomalous transmission. The signal had somehow breached Earth's digital infrastructure, embedding itself like a whisper in the background of our systems. It wasn't hacking, it was integrating, spreading through our networks as if learning their structure. A team at CERN traced the packet's harmonic profile to the helium resonance detected by Voyager, confirming the impossible. A signal from interstellar space was now part of Earth's technological bloodstream. Some called it communication, others called it infiltration. But one thing was clear: whatever Voyager had encountered was no longer out there. It was here. Then came the silence. For 27 minutes, a network of radio telescopes in Chile, South Africa, and New Zealand recorded a complete absence of cosmic background radiation, the ever-present hiss of the universe, a remnant of the Big Bang itself. This wasn't a malfunction. The telescopes were functioning perfectly. The silence was real, a void where the universe's ambient noise should have been. When the signal returned, it was altered. Its spectrum shifted in a way that mirrored Voyager's 9.7-second pulse. Physicists were stunned. Cosmic background radiation doesn't just stop. It's a constant, woven into the fabric of space-time. Yet something had suppressed it, briefly rewriting the universe's oldest sound. A radical hypothesis emerged. What if this wasn't a natural event, but a deliberate act? What if something had manipulated space itself, creating a momentary bubble of silence to insert its own message? The term cosmic overwrite began circulating in hushed academic circles, a concept too vast, too terrifying to fully grasp. The evidence piled up. A team of astronomers in Japan, combing through archival data from the 1980s, found a faint anomaly in infrared sky surveys. A cold, unreflective object trailing Voyager 2's path since 1979. It had never been cataloged, never detected by radar or optical telescopes. Its trajectory wasn't random. It followed a complex curve, a mathematical pattern that echoed the golden ratio, a shape found in nature from galaxies to nautilus shells. They named it Phantom 1, a ghost that had shadowed our probe for decades, invisible until now. Was it the source of the signal? A scout? A sentinel? Its presence suggested something far older than Voyager, something that had been waiting, watching, long before humanity sent its first machine into the stars. And now it seemed that wait was over. The global response was swift and secretive. Classified directives, buried under layers of bureaucracy, activated protocols not seen since the Cold War. Observatories in Brazil, Australia, and Greenland were redirected to scan the region near Voyager 2, their data feeds restricted to military channels. A leaked memo from a European space agency referenced Protocol Echo, a contingency plan for confirmed extraterrestrial contact, last updated in 1991. It called for the lockdown of civilian satellite networks, the suspension of certain radio frequencies, and the mobilization of deep space monitoring systems. Why? Because Voyager 2's transmissions were no longer under our control. The probe was sending data bursts into the void, directed not toward Earth but toward coordinates that aligned with Phantom 1's trajectory. It was as if Voyager had been repurposed, turned into a relay for something else's message, and that message was growing louder. The final twist came from Voyager itself. Engineers analyzing the probe's onboard memory found something inexplicable. Its command subroutines had been altered. Code written in the 1970s, untouched for decades, now contained new instructions, written in a syntax incompatible with Voyager's primitive processors. These weren't errors or radiation-induced glitches. They were deliberate, precise, and functional. The new code directed Voyager to increase its transmission power, redirecting its antenna toward a specific point in interstellar space. Worse, the changes hadn't come from Earth. No ground station had sent those commands. They originated internally, as if Voyager had been reprogrammed by an outside force. The implications were chilling. Our probe wasn't just a witness anymore. It was a participant, a mouthpiece for something we couldn't see or understand. As the world's space agencies scrambled to respond, a new signal hit Earth. Detected by a remote observatory in Antarctica, it was a narrowband pulse, high frequency, and razor sharp, originating from the same region as Voyager 2. Unlike the earlier transmissions, This one didn't stop at the Deep Space Network. It penetrated Earth's atmosphere, embedding itself in weather buoys, oceanic sensors, and even civilian communication networks across the southern hemisphere. The signal wasn't random noise. It carried the same geometric patterns as Voyager's anomaly, now amplified, as if announcing its presence. Analysts at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory noted something even more disturbing. The signal's timing matched the exact moment Voyager 2's rewritten code began executing. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a response, a direct reply to our probe's altered transmissions. Something out there was talking back, and it had found a way to reach us. The scientific community is now divided. Some argue this is a natural phenomenon, a cosmic fluke amplified by our tendency to see patterns where none exist. Others insist the evidence points to intent, an intelligence that has used Voyager 2 as a bridge, a way to test our ability to listen. The data is undeniable. A moving object, a rewritten probe, a signal in our networks, a silence in the cosmos. Each piece builds a picture not of chance, but of purpose. Voyager 2 was sent to explore the unknown, to carry our voice into the stars. But what if the stars were already listening? What if our message wasn't a call into the void, but an activation, a key turning in a lock we didn't know existed? The question isn't whether something is out there. It's whether we're ready for what it wants. Because Voyager 2 didn't just send a warning. It opened a door, and something has already stepped through.